So, this is episode number 6 of For the North. I am PJ.
I am Chris. Also, is this really episode 6 already?
This is already episode 6. We
I
are.
don't feel like it. I feel like time has flown by with this.
It has. It has. We're
podcast,
already going into week 8 of the NFL, and we're beyond. Well, almost. Under the old format, we would be at the halfway mark, but the NFL had to go and add that pesky extra game. A few years ago, and so now we are living in the world of this is 8 games is not week 8 is no longer halfway through the NFL season.
Yeah. Also, we had none of you engaged in our trivia, but we will give you the answers anyway.
Do we want to do that now, or do we want to do that a little later on in the podcast?
You know what? I think we do that. Yeah, let's do it now. Let's give the fans what they want right away. But this won't be every time. Next time we'll do it in like the middle, so you'll have to work for your and you'll have to. You know what? Let's make it a requirement that they pretend. No. I don't want to be that podcast host. you have to participate to get the answers.
Yeah,
I'm grumpy that no one participated.
If you could subscribe and give us a super chat, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much.
I think we're also going to work on a Discord channel eventually. So stay tuned for all of that, and we will let you know.
Yeah, we'll give you some updates. This has been pointed out that we're ironing out some of the kinks and kind of figuring out what this is, and we're calling this our preseason, our inaugural run at what For the North is going to be. That by the way could change. That name could change.
You know what? It's grown on me. It's grown on me.
All right. I was gonna say like it's I'm not married to it, but it's growing. It's growing. Here we are. So let's like you said, give the people the content they've been looking for. We asked the question last week to recap. The Hail Mary, the first Hail Mary. Who are the 2 teams that were playing when the first Hail Mary was thrown? Where was the location of that? All right. We also said we want to know the controversy. What was the controversy behind the play? And for bonus points, name the quarterback that threw it, name the wide receiver that he threw the pass to. So,
now I can say this confidently because we're about to reveal. If you can build a time machine and, just wear referee outfit, throw a yellow flag there for that push off, that would be great. But I'm going to let PJ reveal the answer.
So, the first Hail Mary was thrown by the Dallas Cowboys when they played the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to get this exactly right because I want the answer here. Hold on. I need to pull this up. This is what we use the internet for. The first Hail Mary was thrown on December 28th, 1975. Way back before either Chris and I were even a thought in our parents' minds.
But I have met one of the purple people eaters.
You have met. That's pretty cool. That is
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. Back in
That
the
was
days,
Alan Page. Yeah.
Alan Page. Back in the days of the Purple People Eaters, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Roger Staubach threw a game-winning 50-yard Hail Mary touchdown pass.
Eater.
Yep. To Drew Pearson.
Actually, I should say Drew Pearson. You know what? Roger Staubach. I apologize. It was Drew Pearson that was the cheater.
Drew Pearson was the cheater. That game, it was a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. Controversy.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah. The controversy behind it was Drew Pearson pushed off under today's current rules. That would be
and the old rules. It would be the old rules as well. The push off was still illegal at that time.
It was still illegal. So, but yes, that under today's current rule book would be considered offensive pass interference. So it would have nullified the 50-yard game-winning touchdown. Famously, Staubach closed his eyes and said a Hail Mary, hence the name Hail Mary that has now become famous in the nomenclature of the NFL. So there is your answer to the trivia question. The score of that game ended up being 14-10. I'm very sorry, Vikings fans, that I had to bring that up. I know it hurts.
Okay, we're used to it. Oh, you know what? We actually asked too. Where was it? Where was it thrown? It was the old Met Stadium where I believe the Vikings and the Twins played at that time.
Yes, the Metropolitan Stadium, where, fun fact, in the Mall of America, in what was formerly Camp Snoopy, has a monument marking the home plate.
Yes.
But yes.
And you know what? I always thought it was weird when I was younger, walking by it, but now it makes sense.
Now it makes sense. You know that they actually, from Metropolitan Stadium, took the home base, and put that in at Target Field.
So, how old is it? It's real old.
Real freaking old. So there is your answer there. So if you want to talk about famous landmarks that stand on that area to this day, there is a giant mall where people go shopping. Multiple levels, multiple shops.
If you're a Minnesotan, you avoid it. If you're a tourist, it's cool.
Yeah. I think if you're a tourist, it's cool once, and then you realize that it's overrun and just not the place to be. To be. There are many cooler places.
And you know what? Maybe we'll do in the off season, we'll do our travel racks for the Twin Cities and Wisconsin.
There you go. Yeah, we'll give you some spots to check out on your awesome summer vacations. Spots to go in Minnesota and spots to go in Wisconsin. Stay tuned.
You know what? I've been to Cable, Wisconsin. Can I say it was beautiful up there?
I absolutely love that area. Just gorgeous.
It's almost just like Duluth. It's the same concept.
Yeah. There are a lot of hidden gems in the state of Wisconsin. More to come on that. We will, when we start the travel portion of our NFC North podcast.
Hey, and if any travel agencies would like to sponsor us, we're willing. We're up for negotiation.
Yeah, we are absolutely willing to barter with you. On that note, should we dive into some conversation about the NFC North?
I don't know. I'm getting all these. My phone lines are lighting up with calls from all the travel agencies. I can handle those, but maybe at another time I'll send them straight to our answering machine. And for those of you who don't know what an answering machine is, it was a thing way back when we had these things called landlines, and it would go to, when you didn't pick up the call, it would go to an answering machine, and you could record your message, kind of like on cell phones now. And that's a fun fact of history for all of you.
There you go. Hey, we don't tell us that you haven't learned something on this podcast. We just taught you about the first Hail Mary. We taught you about awesome spots, or at least one spot to go see in Wisconsin. We told you some history about the Mall of America, and we taught you about landline phones and the answering machine. You are welcome, America. You are welcome.
All right, and now with enough nonsense, so we don't lose our current listening base, I've been so the Bears and the Saints. All I gotta say about that is, yeah,
Yeah, that result felt pretty predictable. I still am on this train, and we talked about this before we hopped on the podcast. I'm still on the train that I'm not convinced that the Bears are going to continue to keep winning this way. I'm also really wanting to see them beat an elite team, play play good against elite competition, and prove to me that you truly have the horses to do it and you can sustain this. Right?
Well, and I was thinking about it too. Like, well, the NFC North has a lot of fun rivalries. Like, I feel like even Packers fans would tip their hats if Caleb Williams won a Super Bowl. I just don't know if I see it this year.
Like again, I'm on this train that like it's gonna take some time, like because we talked about this before. The state of that locker room before Ben Johnson came and before they got these players in there with Caleb Williams and retooled the offensive line and did all of this, the state of the locker room was bad last year, really really bad, and it got to a point where the Bears were just so hopeless that they kept losing game after game after game, right? And I think it takes time, at least a year, maybe two, to turn that sort of culture around in the NFL. Again, I believe that Ben Johnson is a talented coach and he has the wherewithal to figure this out and turn it around. I just don't think that year one is the time to make a push for being a playoff team and then on top of that making a deep run into the playoffs. I just don't see it this year.
Yeah, they haven't won against a good team. Let me just say that.
No.
So,
I mean, the game that you could argue that was winnable for them against a good team was Minnesota, and they ended up, giving that away in the fourth quarter.
yeah, should we transition into that? I mean, I'm done with talking about the Bears versus the Saints. So.
Yeah, we don't have much more to say about that. If you were coming here to listen, if you're Bears fans and you were coming here to listen to our recap of the Bears game, so sorry, we don't have much more to say about it this week.
So I think in a few weeks when the Bears and Packers face off, I might have to be a moderator for you and Harper when he comes on.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. You texted me and I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna get a guest on, and I was like, he got a frickin' Bears fan, didn't he?
I mean, I had to.
I know.
We got our Lions fan potentially, and we got our Bears fan. So
yeah, I like that. That's good representation. No, but I think you might have to play moderator for that. There might be
right.
There's it's not it does not escape me, or it is well known that is a heated rivalry and has been for a really long time. So
right, but you guys got along in college, so it was.
We did. We were always civil. There was never it never came to blows. Never nothing was ever said that couldn't be undone. So
right.
Yeah, absolutely. So should we get into this? Speaking of the Vikings, should we get into the game against the Eagles?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that officiating was awful, all around.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on that last drive when the Eagles were playing hurry up offense. You know what? And I'm not even a hater on the Eagles team itself. I'm more concerned that the NFL officiating crew seems like on these big games versus big teams, they seem to favor the bigger team rather than the smaller market team. However, I'm not going to blame the refs for this loss. The Vikings had plenty of chances to win this game. And the simple thing is that Carson Wentz needs to play better all around,
Mm-hmm.
but especially in the red zone. Brian Flores and the defense did really well for quite a while.
Yeah.
But you cannot play well as a defense if your offense keeps going 3 and out. You're not getting at least 2 first downs to give your defense some momentum even after the other team has scored.
Yeah, I mean they were on the field a lot. The defense was on the field a lot, and really.
Well, by the end, like those passes, you could tell they were gassed.
Yeah, no, they were. Credit to the defense though that there was, I could see the gamesmanship, the kind of scheme, the defensive play calling ability that Brian Flores has. One little note that I did want to highlight for Brian Flores was the unique way that he lined up the nose tackle on the first tush push play.
Oh my goodness! And can we talk about the tush push a little bit, PJ?
We can.
Okay. Your center lined up offsides.
The whole first and foremost, we've talked about this. The whole formation itself is an illegal formation because you have the center positioned over the ball, covering up the ball from the snap point, which in the NFL rule book is an illegal formation, and then you have all of the linemen, all of the rest of the linemen, your guards, your tackles, lined up within the neutral zone for that play. That's just
the only thing I was really impressed by that the refs called on that was they called a false start.
Yes, they finally called one false start, and that feels like it's like giving a drop of water to a person in a desert, right? But it's I think if we're going to get rid of the tush push, we've talked about this, right? That truly I would like to see the tush push banned, and it's mostly because the play itself is not it's not easy to officiate, and you're allowing the entire offensive line to false start and get an advantage before the defense has any chance to do anything about it, right? I think it's going to have to be this death by 1,000 cuts where we continue to see refs calling a false start and saying, no, your offensive line moved. You go from 4th and 1 to 4th and 6 now. Now you're in a punting situation. I think it's got to be that sort of situation, a death by 1,000 cuts. Like I said, little calls, little offsides calls, or illegal formations, or things that are going to get called consistently. Again, that's been kind of hit or miss this year, right? But I would love to see the tush push go, right? But right. I enjoyed the on the other side of it when the Eagles line up in their first tush push formation for that game on this past Sunday. Brian Flores had a little bit of gamesmanship there, and he said, okay, I'm going to put a speed bump in your way, right? And I'm going to line my nose tackle up sideways, knowing that the whole point of the play is getting leverage, get low.
And it almost worked.
It was almost effective. They barely picked that up. They barely picked it up. And so I think right in front of you there might be a formula for stopping the tush push.
It's also like I like Kevin O'Connell, right? Like I feel like Carson Wentz needed to execute better.
Mm-hmm.
But like if things don't, improve within the next I don't think they expect it within this year. But if they don't improve by next year, um, it's going to be a talk of whether Brian Flores gets the head coaching job or not. We'll see too. We'll monitor that situation. There's a lot of
Yeah, I mean, I think
things around the NFL with him too. So
I mean, I think it's really hard to say right now that there's any remote kind of feelings of Kevin O'Connell's seat even being warm at all. I think he's too talented of a play caller, too talented of a coach, really, to go ahead and have this spiral outward and kind of get away from him. Like, unless if the Vikings do not win another game from this point on, which I don't see that being the case.
you know what? I still see the Vikings going 500 or more this year, with the schedule that they have left. I don't see it being uh, completely like they're not going to be completely dominant. They haven't shown that yet.
Yeah.
Or like nothing about this team tells me they're going to be completely dominant this year, and that's okay. I don't think anybody expected them to be.
Well, I mean, I think after a year like last year, I think there's just high there was very lofty, very high expectations for the Vikings coming out of last year going into this year, right? It was, Sam Darnold was brilliant last year, and the Vikings. No, I don't think anybody with Sam Darnold at quarterback had predicted that the Vikings were going to win 15 games and be the 2 seed in the NFL,
Yeah.
in the NFL playoffs last year. So like, I it just, uh, you know, I definitely think there's a ceiling here where 9 or 10 wins is fantastic for kind of a team right now in the Vikings that is a little bit in flux with what is our quarterback situation, what are we going to get out of Carson Wentz, when does JJ McCarthy come back, and what does that look like. um, I mean, you said it earlier kind of perfectly that there were opportunities for Minnesota to win this game on Sunday, and the big takeaway is Carson Wentz needed to play a better game.
Right. And it's something that like my uncle texted me that he lost a ton of faith in Wentz, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like it's something that I'm like, if he cannot contribute, then he needs to step aside. I think we need to swallow our pride a little bit too. See like who has the better performance in training camp, or not training camp, in practice. But also like if we did start Max on Thursday based off Carson Wentz's performance on Sunday, I would not be surprised. However, it has been confirmed that, well, and I'm going to say today because
Yep.
we film it the night before.
Yeah, so
Record it the night before.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just our faces, our talking heads the entire time?
People don't need to see our ugly mug.
No. But I hope Wentz plays better, and if he does, the Vikings do have a great chance to win that game, but we will talk about that later.
Yeah. We'll kind of bring that up when we start running through game previews for week number 8. But yeah, I mean, you kind of said it there. I do want to say there were some kind of as I said, there were some really brilliant moments in this game. Defense played great. They had all the opportunity. They were out there a lot. They were gassed by the end of it.
And how humble was Jefferson too when he was like, you know what, he guarded me really well, but I had that ball in my hands.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say that was like there are not many cornerbacks that are going to be able to make that play when Jefferson has the ball in his hands to knock that out and have that not be a touchdown.
Right. And Jefferson was like, I'm the best. I mean, I think he goes in and he's like, I'm the best receiver in the league.
Yep.
And he is. He is.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that's not even me being biased. That's me saying, hey, from what I've seen from this guy, I think he has the potential to be better than Moss and better than Rice eventually.
Yeah.
He just needs a good quarterback. But
Yeah.
that ball was perfectly thrown.
It was. It was.
He should have brought it down. He had it by his chest. He let it get it knocked away.
Yeah. I mean, but that's hell of a tip of the cap to Cooper DeJean on the play.
Oh yeah.
I mean that is a you run that play 9 times out of 10, that's a touchdown for Jefferson 9 out of the 10 times. This would just happened to be an incredible rep by Cooper DeJean and that defensive backfield for the Eagles. So, props to both of them.
Okay, let's move on to you know what? I'm gonna go Lions and Buccaneers.
Lions and Bucks, okay.
Because I think the Packers win was the most interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lions and Bucks, surprising from the Lions.
Yeah.
But way to get pressure on Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely. Huge factor in this game. The fact that the pressure was able to get there. And I have it in front of me here. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah. So the D line for the Lions sacked Baker Mayfield 4 times, and it didn't account to a ton of lost yardage. But anytime you get a sack, that's a negative play that affects the drive that leads to punts and ultimately more opportunities for the Lions to score. On the other hand, you had Baker Mayfield throwing an interception as well, and the other defensive factor here was that the Lions secondary minus Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, so they don't have their essentially their starting defensive backfield, right?
Can I say the Buccaneers defensive line really let the Buccaneers down, because you can have a bad game every once in a while, but everybody's got to step up.
Yeah.
And when Jahmyr Gibbs has 136 rushing yards, 417 carries, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a huge day, monster day.
Yeah, and 2 touchdowns. I'm like, and then St. Brown also had quite a big game too. Like, it's just like, why? Why are you doing, like, I really was hoping that as a Vikings fan, that the Buccaneers would come out and dominate the Lions.
Oh, I think
however, that was not the case.
Yeah, I mean, we all were. As NFC North fans, we're all kind of like, I think there's a little like it's like the devil and the angel on our shoulder, and we're like, yes, we want the NFC North to do success. We want the teams to be successful, and then the devil on our shoulder is like, no, only our team can win. Everybody else has to lose. I was honestly a bit surprised by the fact that the Buccaneers in this game didn't really seem to have a fighter's chance in this. They just got outgunned, outplayed, outcoached. They just really looked like they were scrambling. And up to this point, we were talking about Tampa Bay as one of those contending teams. Baker Mayfield was being talked about as an MVP candidate in the same breath as Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and those sorts of players. So I think our again this game has done that thing that seems to happen in the NFL very often, is that it has shifted our perspective, how we view how we view the Lions, how we view the Bucks as a contender now, how the picture of the NFC North is going to stack out. Now, what I will say is we've been talking about the Lions offense and how it's been functioning against teams that they're supposed to beat, teams that are that middle to lower tier of the NFL. What I would like to see from the Lions, if we're truly going to say, okay, you're a contender, we are scared, we are looking at your ability long term to make the playoffs, make a deep run. I want to see sustained success for the Lions in their upcoming games. Like, okay, Jameer Gibbs had a huge game against the Bucks. Can you do that against your next few opponents here? Can your run game be dominant? Can Jared Goff make the plays downfield to Amon-Ra St. Brown? Can you continue to kind of keep up this offensive dominance that we saw in this game? Granted, it's one game, so we
Right, and they face a tough defense on their next opponent if their offense can, if the Vikings offense can, uh, you know,
right, like
execute.
yeah. I mean, so they've got some interesting games coming up. Coming out of the bye, they've got to play the Vikings, and is that in Minneapolis, or is that no? That's on the road
You know,
in Detroit, I think.
actually, you know what? It is. Is it in Minneapolis? I
No,
believe.
it's in Detroit. It's
Okay.
yeah. I think later on in the year, the Vikings get the Lions at home. When exactly
Yeah.
that happens, I'm uncertain. But coming out of the bye, they're going to play. They're going to play the Vikings, which, um, we've talked about this. The Vikings have that potential to be a truly dominant team. They have offensive weapons at every level, so they can.
Agreed. And by that point, Aaron Jones should be back.
Yeah, I think he just today. I'm saying today when we're recording. That he got it was announced that he's designated to return from IR due to hamstring injury. So that should definitely give a boost to that offense.
Yeah, I still think Mason will be the number one running back.
I think so.
I think Jones will be the secondary.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. To go back to the Lions for a second, I just like I said, I think the big takeaway for me is like this performance by Jameer Gibbs was really good. I want to see more sustained success to really know or really put them in that contender category again. They got games against the Lions, the Commanders, and the Eagles coming up after their bye. So I think we're really going to see kind of proof of concept of this offense is the point that I'm making, and we're going to see how the on the other side of the ball their defense fares against some higher quality opponents. So
Yeah, it'll be an interesting end to the season indeed.
yeah,
Let's look at it here. So tomorrow,
I do.
if
Before we,
the
by the
go
way,
ahead.
I hate to stop you here. Before we jump into the previews, we did forget to touch
Oh
on
yeah,
the Packers
yeah,
game.
yeah. Packers game. Yeah. No, of course the Packers fan reminds me. You're like, of course the
Well,
Vikings fan forgets about the Packers game. See, this is why it's the preseason.
this is
We're
why it's
working out the kinks.
yeah.
We're getting into it, but stay tuned. So with the Packers game, my biggest qualm with the Packers is I don't think they can keep winning this way. I don't think that Jordan Love is that quarterback that can bring you back from well, let's just say he's no Tom Brady versus the Falcons in the Super Bowl.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
don't think you can continue to, or yeah, no, you can't continue to play the way that you did on Sunday for 3/4 of a football game and end up winning these football games, right? Because eventually you're going to get to the point where you're playing higher quality opponents and you're going to fall behind by more than just one score. And it's the these higher quality opponents are going to be able to possess the ball for longer and make these kind of flaws that we have seen in Green Bay's offense more evident. The frustrating thing for me, and that's the word I kind of come upon with Green Bay this year so far, is that they have the talent on offense. They have good skill players. Josh Jacobs is talented, and Tucker Kraft and Jordan Love we know is a good quarterback, and Romeo Dobbs can be a talented wide receiver. So they have playmakers, and this offense has stretches or shown for stretches of games that they can be truly dominant. And then there's these inexplicable head scratching moments where there's dumb play calling or stupid mental mistakes, self inflicted wounds from penalties. It just, I cannot continue to watch games where the Packers sweat out a one possession victory for a 3 to 7 point victory, and the whole game I'm stressed out and white knuckling it. I just that's going to come to a head, and I think that's going to come back if they cannot figure this out and truly figure out how to function as a dominant offense. It's going to come back to bite them in a really bad way.
Welcome to the life of what Vikings fans have been experiencing the last few years. You know what? I'm glad you brought it up now. That we go back to evaluate it, even though I know you're probably not super happy to go back into it.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to lose a close game, but be dominating the whole game. But it's another thing to be like, oh, it's close the entire time and it's a nail biter and we're losing in the first half quite badly. Now we need to come back and crawl our way out of a hole. Jordan Love proved he could do that, but I'm also like, in these past few games, you guys just haven't looked great. You've looked good,
yeah,
but not great.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. You are absolutely 100% spot on with that assessment. It's just
right.
And
I would say the same thing about the Vikings wins this year for my team. It's like we've looked good and okay, not great.
And yeah, it's just it's that kind of it's that thing we've talked about it. You can't everybody says it where they're like, well, a win's a win. Even if you win ugly, doesn't matter. Win's a win, right? And just kind of burn the tape, move on to the next thing, and just keep stacking wins. But
Stephon Diggs had a comment on that a few years ago. I believe that was ugly wins are better than pretty losses, and I'm like, which is okay, which is fair.
It is fair. Still. It is fair, but I would like to, by the time that we're getting into November and December football, have this figured out and not be playing games where I'm spending the entirety of 3 quarters, 4 quarters going, I don't know, we're one play away from really losing this, or we're one play away from, oh my God, this is amazing, right? And that's what happened on Sunday. For the majority of this game, the Packers did not lead until with like 2 minutes left in that game. They looked disjointed and unorganized, and just truly from the get-go looked like they did not show up to play this football game and expected that they were going to go into play the Cardinals, and the Cardinals were just going to roll over and accept the fact that the Packers were better. Fortunately, the Packers.
Fortunately for the Cardinals, that the head coach wasn't suspended. By the way,
Right.
okay, can we go over that? Well, go ahead, PJ. Finish your thought, and then we'll go over that.
I mean, what I was going to say is just it's fortunate that this go around where the Packers came out flat for 3 quarters, right? And every opportunity when they needed a stop, right? They the Arizona Cardinals were getting touchdowns left and right and getting whatever they wanted to their wide receivers. And when push came to shove and the fourth quarter hit, all of a sudden Jordan Love and the Packers flipped the switch and they're a whole different team. I would like that team the whole game from the get go.
I love how announcers talk about it, where it's like, I love how they're like, oh, JJ McCarthy, he was lucky to win against the Bears, and then they're like, Jordan Love is the greatest quarterback ever because he plays for the Packers. It's kind of like it's a John Madden effect.
It's the new John Madden Brett Favre thing is the Chris Collinsworth Patrick Mahomes thing, where Chris Collinsworth is always like, well, Lamar just made that throw, and that reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is so great. He does this, he does that. So it's like it's this tendency for announcers to like draw these comparison lines and just like be like really overly romantic about football. And it really, when it comes down to it, I can see it. I'm not saying that Jordan Love is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback, and we have yet to figure out if he's going to be a great or an elite quarterback.
We don't know his ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we just don't. Like he's a really good quarterback, though. He's.
What message would you send to Vikings fans on JJ McCarthy? Because I know what message I would send, and it's a similar message to the message that I sent you a couple of years ago with Jordan Love. But I want to hear your perspective on it.
I mean, it's be patient. Be patient. It will take time, and I think he will figure it out.
I love your background noise too. It's our biggest fan is commenting on our biggest podcast, just live as we speak.
Pardon me for a second. I will be right back.
Okay.
We will get to that in a second.
All right. You know what? I got a few comments that I will go on.
All right. Fair enough.
So, for all our listeners, I would like to say, if your quarterback is not great in the first season, it is okay. I will say that it is on the coaching staff and partially on the player to move forward to build the best system around them that is possible. If they cannot do that, then it is a, what do you call it? I wouldn't want to call it a failure, but it just isn't quite the right fit for either party. So, whichever ends up being let go is okay. However, we cannot say that we can give up on a quarterback in the first season just because they had a couple of terrible games. Now that PJ is back, he can comment on that because PJ, what did I tell you? Right as you were panicking about Jordan Love being like, I believe you said we should cut Jordan Love right now.
Oh man, I've had I think there was a stage of his first year, right, as a starter, where the beginning half of it did not look good. It was truly the the it started off rough, right, and it was very much okay. We're in a downward spiral. Packers fans are concerned that we're never going to sniff the playoffs again. We're very concerned that we made a mistake moving on from Aaron Rodgers. And in fewer words, you basically told me, okay, you you need to calm down. Like, you're looking at a quarterback that's played like 5 games.
I held up the sign, that Aaron Rodgers did.
Yeah, no. He said, "Okay, you need to relax." Like, uh, it's and you texted me and you said Jordan Love will be a good quarterback. It just will take time. Like it's not going to happen overnight. And Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre, and Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers, and it will come. It will come.
Right.
And I, in that moment, was grateful that you were able to text me that and talk me off the ledge a bit, because I tend to, as a sports fan, catastrophize a little bit about the teams I root for. And truly, the sky is not falling. Jordan Love is a very good quarterback, and time will tell what his ceiling is, and that is the same case for J.J. McCarthy, and that is the same case for Caleb Williams, and that's the same case for Jared Goff.
Right, and those who are ripping on J.J. McCarthy, he did not have a healthy offensive line in his first 2 games, and he got sacked very quickly.
Yeah.
It was quite a shock for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that was truly kind of a welcome to the NFL moment, where you kind of, everything's sunshine and unicorn farts, and all of a sudden, here's your, oh my gosh, these guys are big and strong and fast, and I was not ready for that.
But if I could think of guys who were, sacked a bunch of times, like, I think of Jordan Love, I think of, I think of Kaepernick, his first year. I think of a lot of other quarterbacks their first year that were sacked quite a bit, and then became great players afterward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a process.
Yep.
It is like you said, I believe, marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, as a Packers fan, what I would very much like this year to become, I would like one comfortable victory where I do not have to sit on the couch and
It's not going to happen.
You know what? Can you let me dream? Let me dream, Chris. Let me dream. Gosh dang it. Oh, fudge. Yeah, no, I kind of like, I don't think there's much more to say about the game outside of the fact that Micah Parsons on Sunday, I think, finally showed why the Packers went and got him. 10 pressures, 3 sacks. He was a huge factor in why the Packers were still in that game and able to win it when they were down by multiple scores. Had to come back multiple times, play a absolutely brilliant fourth quarter. So Micah Parsons showed on Sunday why you go and trade for a player like that. So
right. Let's just hope it continues for you. At least if you're a Packers fan, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's switch gears again. Sorry for earlier.
Yeah, jump the gun a little bit. It's all right.
I was a little excited.
I'll do some editing magic.
Tomorrow, the Vikings at the LA Chargers. I don't know if I'm more worried about Carson Wentz being injured or Justin Herbert being injured, because Justin Herbert took a lot of really hard shots,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to think it's going to affect him going into Thursday night.
Yeah. The factor here is that like they already have an offensive lineman that is has been on injured reserve, or is kind of they've done a little bit of shuffling, and in the past few games here, Justin Herbert hasn't been the world beater that we have been used to seeing, and I think that's due in part to the pressure that he's seeing, the interceptions that he's thrown in a couple of games now, and giving the other team opportunities there. But, kind of the factor of him, getting hit, and that affecting the timing of routes and the way that the offense functions is certainly something to be aware of going into this game, because you pointed out, we've talked about this, that both the teams, both LA and Minnesota are on a short week, right? So just as injuries are affecting LA just as much as they would affect Minnesota on this short week going in.
Well, and so they have LA has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are questionable right now.
Yeah, that's a rather kind of large looming question mark, especially for a short week game. So
yeah, and I just feel like the Vikings defense, at least the pass rush, is a little bit better than the pass rush of the Chargers. So if I'm going to predict this game, it's going to be the Vikings by 7.
Okay. I fall a bit more conservative on this game, at least in terms of the point spread, the final score. I do agree with you that I think this is a Vikings victory, right? I don't really see this being a Vikings loss unless if we are going to get the version of Carson Wentz that is throwing multiple interceptions and not executing in the red zone again. I would like to think that that is not going to happen again, and we've watched the tape and we've learned from our mistakes, Carson Wentz. Because
please, Carson Wentz,
please
learn from your mistakes.
please learn from them, because otherwise we're talking about Max Brosmer, and I think they confirmed that JJ is not ready to go. He's
right
still.
And can we say like Max Brosmer, if he is not ready right now? PJ, you watched him tear up Iowa a little bit,
yeah.
Here and there. So he
Yep.
he's a good quarterback.
He is. I mean, if you're in the NFL and you're a backup quarterback of any stature, whether it's second string, whether it's third string, you need to be prepared, right? It's this mentality of you're getting paid to show up, suit up, and be ready to play should the starter go down. You don't want the starter to go down, but you should be prepared to play.
You know what my neurodivergent brain went to?
What?
That the Vikings got 2 of the best Big Ten quarterbacks.
Yeah. They did, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you and I watched Max play a phenomenal game on a cold day.
Very cold.
In Minnesota.
Very cold.
Yeah.
I think our drinks were slushies that day.
Yeah. Anything, yeah. Turned into slushy, yeah.
And then you've got J.J. McCarthy, who, when he was drafted, was coming off of a national championship with Michigan. So,
yeah.
I mean, I just, here's the thing. I'm a little bit more conservative in the point spread. I think, again, this is a Vikings victory. I'm going to go Vikings by 3, just considering the kind of offense, the coaching that's on the other side. Jim Harbaugh is, I think, a brilliant coach and gets kind of the most out of Justin Herbert in that offense. So that's just where I see this kind of being a little bit closer and maybe coming down to a last possession for the Vikings to win this one. So, you know, maybe on the foot of Will Reichard. Maybe. That is entirely possible, right? Oh. Well,
Yeah, PJ, this is entirely possible. And you know what? One of these times we will film what we're doing on camera, the silliness and all the antics that go on. But let's go Bears Ravens. Okay, so right now I have the Bears winning this game by 3 points. If Lamar plays, I have the Bears winning the game by. I have the Ravens rather winning the games by 7
okay.
points.
I like. I'm uncertain. It's a question mark as to whether or not the if Lamar is going to play. It changes the outcome, kind of the way I'm thinking about this game. If Lamar is playing, um, I see again that we've talked about this. I don't know if this offensive model, the way that they're winning games, is sustainable for the Bears. Um, Granted, the Ravens are 1-5, so I don't exactly know how good of a team that they are. Lamar is going to give them a boost if he's back, but I'm still kind of in the thought line of that the Ravens are going to win this by 7.
Okay.
I just think either way that this kind of has to come to a head at some point, that the Bears are going to trip up, right? And I'm thinking that Derrick Henry is going to have a little voodoo magic here and come away with a victory for the Ravens. It is in Baltimore, so that makes a little bit of a difference for the outcome, I think, too. So yeah, I'm going to slant toward the Ravens here, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think just all of those factors that we just talked about, Ravens win it for me.
Okay. So, I want to hear your thoughts on the Packers versus Steelers, which is probably a team you would rather not play on your schedule this year.
I just so the storyline to me, right, of the teacher versus the student, the way this is being set up, that this is, the old man versus the new guy, right? That the storylines around this are very fascinating to me, and I'm very excited to watch Aaron Rodgers throw the football, because he's incredibly talented. I've always enjoyed watching him, and I think this game is going to be fun. I think.
Have you enjoyed meeting him?
I would.
Just gotta throw that out there.
I would have enjoyed meeting him. That meeting.
But have you enjoyed meeting him?
No, I have not enjoyed meeting him.
Well, I have.
I would enjoy meeting.
Sorry.
I know.
It's like I got a humble, very non-humble brag. I'm very braggadocious that I've got Aaron Rodgers.
You're such a butt. I like this game. This is a good Sunday night football matchup. Mike Tomlin is a fantastic coach. He's got a lot of gamesmanship. I think he recognizes how big the storylines are going to be for this game. Aaron Rodgers facing his former team, and the media kind of hyping this up as this is a revenge game, and he's going to get to really stick it to the Packers. And I just think, like, from all the interviews I've seen,
but let's look at what Brett Favre did to the Packers a year. He had a revenge game.
Yeah.
It might turn out that way. It just might. Just saying.
It could. It could. I think it can turn out that way. It just depends. It depends on what version of Rodgers we get. It's going to depend on what version of the Packers offense that we see here. Like, I tend to kind of think that this is going to be a close one, and this is one where I think it could swing either way. It could be Packers by 7, or it could be the Steelers by 7, depending on what version of Aaron Rodgers and what version of the Packers offense that we get. I'm also concerned about Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf attacking the weakness in the secondary that is Nate Hobbs. Like, I think Nate Hobbs is going to get picked on all night by Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. I just foresee that happening. We've seen it in the past where Aaron Rodgers just picks a poor, unsuspecting cornerback and just absolutely makes his day a living hell.
Which is, I mean, which is true with the Packers. I feel like the experience of the Packers, offense and defense, has gotten younger, which is okay.
It is okay.
But I feel like, so if I'm looking at it, I'm looking at a couple things. Jordan Love loves to throw the deep ball.
He does.
And that might come back to bite you guys. Number 2, there's just a couple inexperienced players in that secondary where you're like, is Rodgers going to expose them for who they are, at least right now? So
yeah,
I don't know what to think about it.
He very well could. He very well could, and that's why I think this could swing either way. I don't have a very accurate prediction. I would like to say that the Packers win this. This is a tough game, though, for the Packers, right? So I would not be surprised if we walk out of Pittsburgh on Sunday night and it's not a victory for the Packers. I mean, this is a challenging game. It's a tough environment to play in Pittsburgh on a Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers has still got a little bit of juice left in that arm. Like we've seen that this year. I'm not going to be surprised if this is a loss for the Packers.
Yep, I'm going Pittsburgh by 7.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see this going either way. It's really hard to predict this game. I don't know. If it is a victory for the Packers, you know what's probably going to happen? I'm going to sweat it out the whole gosh dang time, and it's going to come down to the last possession.
Yep, that's how it's been.
And you know what?
Past few weeks. Like I said, welcome to being a Vikings fan for the last few years. Yeah.
Yeah. Have I just become a Vikings fan secretly? Like, is this what I've signed up for now? My subscription got renewed, and I all of a sudden became a Vikings fan secretly somehow.
In the fine print.
I didn't read the terms and conditions.
Right.
Oh, fudge. Yeah, no, I mean, this Sunday Night Football, they picked a heck of a matchup for that. And we all know also, you know what a tale as old as time is for Aaron Rodgers? Him getting the go-ahead touchdown and then his defense giving up a game-winning score.
Right.
So
we will see what happens.
We'll see. We'll see. It's just like I said, the storylines are delicious on this game. So,
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we have. So that's
right.
Yeah.
With that, I think we will sign off here.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. This is going to be up tomorrow. You're listening to this on Thursday, by the way.
Thursday at a very, at least for Chris, it's a sleepy night. So thanks for bearing with me, everybody.
Yeah, trying to jump the gun and do things before they're supposed to happen. That's all right.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, anyway, this is For the North. I'm PJ.
I'm Chris.
And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.